to make the most of this webinar. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can submit them to the Q&A widget at the bottom of your screen. We will take them and get them answered at the end of the session. During the webcast, we'll also have some polling questions. We'd really encourage you to respond to them. So without any further delay, let me pass it on to Chuck. Chuck, over to you.
Thanks, Oro, and again, this is Chuck Callio from the IBM Power AI team. So let's take a look here at Power AI. So you have the big domain of artificial intelligence, and then within that you have two domains, machine learning, the superset domain, which is a set of algorithms that learn with experience, and then you have within that deep learning, the more sophisticated, complicated set of algorithms that have multiple layers in them that self-learn with more data. This is really where Power AI started out. The sweet zone of Power AI is with deep learning, tremendous amounts of data, typically either vision and or language use cases, and then the most complex problems, quite a bit of compute capacity, quite a bit of GPU capacity. This is where our heritage started out, and this is really where Power AI excels. So we'll talk about that to start with. The initial release of Power AI focused on creating an integrated and supported AI platform stack that was really optimized for on-premise. And that started with, in the middle, a set of really popular open source frameworks for both machine learning and deep learning. That would be Google TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch, Chainer, and others listed in there. And then some innovation around GPU accelerated machine learning, which we called SnapML. On top of that, we started to build out a developer ease-of-use set of tools that are different than the traditional developer tools. So developers will use languages like Python, R, others that are popular in the AI environment that are not as popular in the database environment of the past, or the NoSQL environments, the Javas and those kinds of things. So open source frameworks, supported distributions, tested and curated by IBM. On top of that is the developer easy-use tools, optimized for AI environments, in particular machine learning and deep learning. And then below that is the IBM innovation layer. We changed our hardware in Power 8 and Power 9 to be optimized for CPU, GPU, and FPGA computing. And in particular, our partnership with vendors like NVIDIA that ensured that we have 3 to 4x speed up for AI training leadership with NVIDIA GPUs on our Power 8 and our Power 9 processors. And then along with that, of course, comes lots and lots of storage, in particular for deep learning environments. So really, the three components of Power AI are in the middle, a set of curated open source frameworks, tested together, released, and fully supported by IBM. On top of that, developer easy-use tools to facilitate AI model development and training, and then below that, IBM innovation layers, really around the hardware and interfacing with the hardware and the software. So as you can see from this, it's a complete stack for IBM Power AI, with really the software and the hardware working very closely together to deliver leadership and speed up for AI training, an integrated and supported AI platform, and easy-use tools for the data scientists optimized for them, not the traditional programmers that we know of in the past. Okay, so here's a little bit more on the innovation layer associated with Power AI, and that would, of course, be the IBM Power Systems hardware. In this case, the IBM AC922, our latest Power Systems Power 9-based server. It's a deep learning server. It can have 4 GPUs and or 6 GPUs on the water-cooled model. Those would be NVIDIA Volta GPUs with over 5,000 GPU cores per GPU. So here you see the creation of a bus called NVLink, which facilitated state-of-the-art fast transfer between our CPUs and the NVIDIA GPUs. Our competition doesn't have anything like this. You can see the bus speeds of 150 gigabits per second per Power 9 CPU there, for a total of 300 gigabits per second. And then you can see the transfer between the system's memory and the Power9 CPU at 170 gigabits per second per CPU, incredibly fast. The other thing I would like to mention is we do have the capability in Power AI here to store large models in systems memory, and so that can be a terabyte or more on the AC922. Again, another differentiator that the hardware brings to this Power AI stack, and that allows you to really optimize for both deep learning and also machine learning. And it does form the basis for our complete stack here, combining this hardware with Power AI or Power AI Enterprise or Power AI Vision. Gives you a complete AI solution unique in the industry. Nobody else has anything like this. So one classic example and benefits here of the complete optimized AI stack, which is Power AI combined with the AC922, would be a benchmark here we did with a Power9 server with NVLink to the GPUs compared to an x86 server with the PCIe 3 protocol to the same GPUs. And you can see here model training improved by a factor of 3.8x faster. In real life, we do see results much, much better than this in many cases, but in this particular benchmark, you can see one of the strategic benefits here right off the way is that large AI models train 4x faster, up to 4x faster with Power AI on the AC922. Given the considerable focus on data scientists optimizing their time and those kinds of things, this is an incredibly powerful benefit, and again leads to more accurate data, faster training times, and lots of different business benefits in the AI environment. For the most popular machine learning libraries and frameworks, again, different than deep learning in Power AI, we do offer something called SnapML. It comes as part of Power AI, and it basically allows distributed GPU accelerated machine learning for the more popular machine learning frameworks while running on Power AI and either Power 8 or Power 9 servers. Again, very unique to IBM, incredibly important in the machine learning environment where GPU accelerated of popular machine learning libraries is something desired. Very nice benefit of Power AI. In addition to the deep learning environments, we also GPU accelerate selected machine learning environments. Just another good benefit here. And here on this chart, you can see the incredible benefit realized through SnapML. This is a benchmark internally in IBM where we compared a 90-server x86 system running with the Google benchmark, or the previous results set by Google, and then we ran that with SnapML on an IBM Power 9 servers, 4 IBM Power 9 servers with GPUs, and you can see the incredible speed up here of 46 times faster on the 4 IBM Power 9 server with GPU and SnapML environment. This is really an incredible advancement in terms of machine learning, and again, the model used here was logistic regression in SnapML.
Where are you in your AI journey? Advanced.
So now we can talk about a kind of a some of the top reasons over 400 clients have chosen to run Power AI worldwide, and many of those are brand new to IBM Power Systems. So the first one is simplicity. Really, we found a lot of value realized by our customers in a complete integrated platform, and again, that's software, developer, easy-use tools, and then the IBM innovation layer around the hardware. That just works. It's really curated and tested by IBM, up and running quickly, easy to use, just works, based on open source. And we did add to that an enterprise distribution on Red Hat Linux in addition to Ubuntu. That was something our clients asked for and did appreciate. And very easy to deploy, up and running really quickly, and again, fully supported. The second one is the unique and innovative capabilities. Large data and model support via the NVLink and the larger memory. We are a platform that emphasizes CPU and GPU working together along with FPGA. So the acceleration of both deep learning and machine learning. Power AI Vision being part of that, and the ability to scale GPUs as required through some of our Power AI Enterprise line items in that offering. Faster training times, again, significantly reducing one of the longer parts of the data science lifecycle here, which is model training time, improving accuracy and improving productivity based on faster model training times, and again, very much appreciated by many of our clients. And then the final thing I would like to mention is we are a very open AI platform with a large amount of ecosystems of partners. On the north side of our stack, we do see many ISVs, tool vendors, and others building on top of that. So AI development tools, other vendors exploiting Power AI for vision-type solutions and point and industry-specific solutions. And then on the other part of the stack, some of our hardware partners, NVIDIA, of course, being one, Xilinx for FPGAs, Mellanox for fast switches, and then, of course, for the delivery, SIs and solution vendors and acceleration partners. So examples would be in the Asian markets, Tech Mahindra, TCS, and many others that are partnering up with us to leverage Power AI and deliver, in particular, industry-specific solutions based on Power AI and our hardware to their clients, and to, again, assist in the acceleration of permeating AI throughout the industry, and those SIs and our software partners really represent an open AI platform with ecosystem partners. We're always working on more partners and growing the ecosystem because we realize this is what our customers want and need. So like I said before, we have quite a bit of experience now with hundreds of client deployments of Power AI. So we did learn a few things, and there are other pain points we are going to address now going forward. So let me set the stage for a little bit of that discussion. So we did really address a lot of the complexity and technology rapidly changing with the Power AI up and running part of the offering. The data preparation is very key, and so we needed to address that. And then build, train, and optimize, we've got a fairly good handle on with Power AI and our partnership with NVIDIA and NVLink. However, a big focus is now shifting to deployment, production, multiple models in deployment and in production, and then inferencing is quite a hot topic now going forward, actually running the models themselves on the proper compute platform, whether it be CPU, GPU, and or FPGA, and then running those against live data, and that's called inferencing. So a lot of the focus now is shifting to the deployment and inferencing in production stages, and that's where we introduce the Power AI Enterprise product. So the Power AI Enterprise product is really focused on production-level AI deployments of Power AI in multiple systems or multi-node or cluster environments. Power AI Enterprise is a fee-based software. It, again, runs on IBM Power 8 or Power 9 accelerated, GPU-accelerated servers only, and it does come with a support line, level 1 through level 3 from IBM. Its focus is really on two things: production of AI and distributed deep learning, greater than 4 nodes clustered together. So within there, you'll have modules for production management of AI models, deep learning impact, data management and ETL as part of that, training and visualization and monitoring and optimization of model training, hyperparameter model optimization is all part of that, and then in Power AI Enterprise would also include spectrum conductor functionality, multi-tenancy, user reporting, chargeback, resource allocation being dynamic, and external data connectors. And again, the focus of Power AI Enterprise is a fee-based offering. Included in that is support, really hardened for the enterprise, and again focused on the larger problem set, distributed deep learning, where you have clusters of machines working on both machine learning and deep learning and in production. And again, a little bit more of a focus here on inferencing and actually taking the data scientist-created models into production and streamlining the process of fast-tracking the business value to our clients from optimizing the production multi-node, multi-cluster environments associated with the base Power AI product into a commercial offering called Power AI Enterprise. This is a big focus of our team going forward, and it's all really based on client demand from the first couple hundred customers that was realized as a result of the bottom offering, which is Power AI Base. So as many of our top clients headed from test and dev into production with the basic Power AI, they did want a version of Power AI that was more optimized for distributed deep learning, that did not limit scaling to just a few servers. So IBM included distributed deep learning, DDL, for greater than 4 nodes into Power AI Enterprise, and that has a really good scaling coefficient. It has very optimized distributed deep learning scaling kind of results up to 256 GPUs. As you can see in this chart, there was some benchmarking we did to prove that out. And then on the right, the other thing we heard too is to continue to build the ecosystem of partners both northbound with the ability to have multiple different types of tooling. So Data Science Experience, which is renamed now to the Watson portfolio, DSX, H2O AI for basic machine learning for the non-data scientists, and then focus more on products optimized for vision, Power AI Vision, intelligent video analytics integrated in, partnering with data storage and AI software providers, really expanding the scope of our ecosystem out, and then working more with the SIs as we move to more industry-specific solutions where the SIs like Tech Mahindra, like TCS, bring in their domain expertise in the certain industries that they're optimized or more deeper in than IBM is, and that they work with us to take Power AI Enterprise and move that into production with our clients in an industry-specific focus. On this chart, I'd also like to mention our support for cloud. So we do now ship both Power AI and Power AI Enterprise via Docker containers, and also we now support Power AI and Power AI Enterprise coming shortly in IBM Cloud Private, otherwise known as ICP. So we moved also into the cloud domain with our support for Docker and ICP. With Power AI, we're not just an on-prem offering anymore. So one key part of Power AI Enterprise is the ability to move models into production at a more rapid pace and to run them in production with all the monitoring advisors and optimization that you would need. Again, clients are going to run multiple models in production, and those models are going to be running on combinations of GPUs, CPUs, and or FPGAs, and in some cases other non-FPGA platform like ASICs. So multiple models running in production created a series of problems where you had to have much better tooling around monitoring the models, advising, optimizing during build and during production. So that product is included in IBM Power AI Enterprise, and that's our Deep Learning Impact module.
Here's another polling question for you. If you're already using AI, what is it that you're struggling with? Skills, cost, or performance? Another polling question for you. Are you exploring deep learning? Option A, yes. Option B, no.
So now this offering starts to build out, you can see, even more robustly to satisfy a broader range of client needs. So right in the middle, we started with Power AI, and our learnings from a couple hundred customer adoptions of that led us to create the Power AI Enterprise offering that's fee-based, which included distributed deep learning, hyperparameter tuning, optimized for production, multi-node environments, a deep learning impact module, ETL, visualization advice, and then Spectrum Conductor with Spark functionality, which gave you the virtualization and the elastic tuning. We added cloud deployment capability to the original on-prem offering. We continue to support Power 8 and Power 9. We added Red Hat. And then we started to get quite a bit of demand for vision-specific solutions, so we came out with Power AI Vision, which is auto machine learning for both images and also video. And that product does labeling, training, and deployment against really vision-focused use cases, which are one of the hottest ones we're seeing in the industry right now. Broad variety of use cases, everything focused on vision. So we now enter into the more advanced stages of Power AI offering with the Vision product complementing both Power AI and Power AI Enterprise, and everything, of course, running on IBM accelerated Power 8 and or Power 9 infrastructure. So quite a large number of the customer opportunities I get called into now are asking about AI vision. It seems to be one of the bigger, hotter topics of the day. I would say vision along with language and general big data processing, exploiting deep learning would be the three, but AI vision is certainly one of the hottest ones. So we do have an offering as part of our portfolio called Power AI Vision, and that is a deep learning development platform for image and video analysis. So you basically have a vision recognition layer which allows you to do image labeling and pre-processing, and then you have some video labeling services as part of this, some customized learning for image classification, and then again some self-delivered training with visualization, mastering, and rendering. And then you do have inferencing as part of this complete solution. So again, vision is one of the hotter topics now. We do have an offering in that space called Power AI Vision. Very, very popular lately. It's quite impressive to see how much across all different verticals Power AI Vision has taken off in terms of its exploration by customers across the globe and across a wide different range of industries. Much to my surprise, a lot wider depth of deployment and interest in vision than I would have thought. So again, it's just another pleasant surprise associated with this whole journey to AI that IBM is having here. Okay, so let's talk for a second about running models in production. So we talked a lot about Power AI Enterprise, and the IBM accelerated hardware and how we optimize that solution for fast GPU acceleration based on bus bandwidth between CPU and GPU, and also allows you to exploit our larger systems memory and our faster systems memory in Power 9. However, when it comes time to actually run the models in production against large data, that's called inferencing. We do have an offering in this space called Power AI Inference Engine, and this will automatically map your trained AI models to the cloud or the edge, and will help with your selection of whether you want to run a specific model on a CPU, a GPU, or an FPGA, and in the cloud or on the edge. Now, many customers will have, many models running in production, so you don't just run one model. And for each of the multiple models that you run, each of those models may run better or worse depending on the model itself on either a CPU, a GPU, or an FPGA. So Power AI Inferencing Engine, we also abbreviate that as PIE, will automatically map your trained AI models to the proper compute platform on the cloud or part of the edge. It's a very interesting product to have as you move towards production in the AI environment, and inferencing in particular implies that you should map your models to the most optimal hardware and delivery platforms for compute. So once you have your vision capability started on your AI system, Power AI Vision, then of course you are going to want to do intelligent video analytics, and the IVA product that we have from IBM is a camera and vendor agnostic solution that allows you to analyze video from static and moving cameras. The metadata is available to external systems that could add value to this analytics ecosystem for videos, and it extends the model to recognize new objects and behaviors. And again, it gives you search capabilities. So once you have the video AI system in place, you've labeled your data, you are going to want to run analytics and search against these larger scale video use cases, and this is where the intelligent video analytics capability comes into play from IBM. So for data scientists, they have a very specialized set of needs and tools, and IBM offers, in conjunction with Power AI Enterprise, one of our IBM products called DSX, or Data Science Experience, been rebranded as part of the Watson portfolio of offerings going forward. And this product is very sophisticated, and it's optimized for data scientists, and it's really focused on the life cycle of different models with many different experiments running, an ETL for data prep, data transformation, data management, data downloading, really also larger data sets to improve the accuracy of your AI models. It's also focused on an enterprise cluster environment where you can deploy and then do inferencing across the life cycle. So DSX really works well with Power AI Enterprise, and again, the focus environment here is really going after the data scientists that need a complete and sophisticated life cycle product for management of all things AI across the board. So on the other end of the spectrum, we do have many non-data scientists, large number of people across the globe coming to us and wanting to work with products that are not required to have a PhD in data science, but open AI up to everyone. So the product here in this space that we focus on is H2O Driverless AI, and that product is really a drag-and-drop type GUI interface to allow multiple people across the organization to really get started with AI and start using machine learning and playing around with it. And again, it's really optimized for the non-data scientists, so larger numbers of people. We have a lot of positive feedback about this product and how it opens up AI to the non-data scientists in the organization. It does come with great visualization and automatic machine learning models that are already optimized and built in, and it does exploit the Power 9 GPUs and work in conjunction with our partnership with both NVIDIA and H2O AI, the company itself. Very positive, and again, the difference between DSX and H2O AI is DSX is optimized for the data scientist, H2O AI is optimized for more of the non-data scientists, the larger number of people who want to get into AI, in particular machine learning, but don't want to have a deep data science background. And that's where H2O Driverless AI does come into the picture. Okay, so let's do a summary here and a recap of the AI portfolio on IBM Power Systems. So again, this would be both on IBM Power 8 and Power 9, GPU-accelerated servers. So starting on the left, we have the Power AI base product. That's no-charge open source software. Again, support is available. The popular machine learning and deep learning frameworks integrated together. Then we move up the stack to production-type focused environments and multi-node, multi-cluster. That product is Power AI Enterprise. It's focused on production multiple node systems, multiple GPUs, distributed deep learning, and other functionality. It is a fee-based product, and support is included in that product. We then branch into the Vision set of offerings, Power AI Vision, focused specifically on video and vision, and then on top of that would be intelligent video analytics and all the other ecosystems associated with all things vision. And then in terms of the northbound components of those stacks that are basically optimized AI stacks, with software and hardware, you have the focus on tooling for the data scientists and the AI developers and the programmers. On the left is the Data Science Experience product from IBM, which is focused on machine learning and deep learning for data scientists in a complete life cycle. And then a machine learning only product focus, H2O AI, for the non-data scientists, the larger number of people who want to get started with AI but just with machine learning, and that would be the H2O AI product. So again, a complete life cycle of optimized base AI stacks, hardware and software working together, a product focused on vision, and then products optimized for data scientists and non-data scientists in terms of next generation AI model development, deployment, and all things getting started with AI. So at this point in time, we would like to talk just briefly about client use cases. We have hundreds of clients running this, so we had to sort of summarize things here, so I'll just examine a few in detail. But again, if you reach out to me, I can provide specific tailored examples of use cases per industry if I don't get the topic covered you're interested in, but I would like to talk about at least a couple here. So here we have one client in the banking industry using Power AI to do ATM demand forecasting for how much cash should be in there. They're using neural networks to do cash forecasting to allow the network to map various factors, date, time, place, patterns, world events, etc., into affecting cash withdrawals and the actual cash in the ATM itself, so you sort of have satisfied customers when you come to an ATM. You again are able to optimize the amount of cash in that ATM and forecast anything that would allow you to take a quick look at changing your business process to make sure all the customers who do approach and want to withdraw some money from an ATM are satisfied in their interactions with this particular bank. It's of course very important to do that, and again, it's one example in the banking industry of the use of Power AI. Second example of the use of Power AI is, again, visual use at an ATM of individuals who may appear to be hiding something when they approach an ATM and don't want a proper image of their face rendered. And again, this is in the banking industry, so it is the use of Power AI to reduce fraud or to more quickly identify potentially fraudulent activities. And again, if there's other use cases here that you're interested in, you can contact me directly. We literally have hundreds of customers running Power AI, so probably already have multiple use cases in the different industries or business problems that you're after solving that we can help work with you and provide you with. Okay, in terms of next steps, so if you want to have your team build out your basic data science skills, you can go to cognitiveclass.ai. That's a free set of classes from IBM on all things machine learning, deep learning, cognitive AI. I think you'll really like that if you don't have a lot of experience in this field. If you do have experience and want to proceed ahead, we definitely recommend that you identify 5 to 10 business problems that are currently not being solved in your organization, and then some associated use cases where we could work together between the client and IBM around pinpointing some subset of those use cases that would be ideal for Power AI, Power AI Enterprise, or Power AI Vision, or other ecosystem products. You would, of course, need to figure out the data strategy and how you would integrate structured and non-structured data into feeding into the models that would address those business problems and use cases that we talked about above. And then we would move to a scenario to do model selection and model training and then inferencing. And that would involve choosing the different ML and DL frameworks and algorithms that we could apply to these business problems and potential use cases and run that on Power AI or on our accelerated servers. Then, of course, we would run a proof of concept. You would get your model accuracy, and then eventually when you're satisfied with the results, you would deploy into production and continue to iterate on this process over and over again. We did provide on the bottom some URLs to get started in terms of a broad range of more assets on both IBM Power AI and our complete portfolio of products on the software side, and then on the hardware side, pointers to more detailed information on the IBM AC922 server. That's the Power 9 server that would be a co-rec to the Power AI or Power AI Enterprise or Power AI Vision products. So it's been a pleasure, and we can then move to any Q&A that anyone has in the webinar. And again, my contact information in summary is Chuck Callio, C-A-L-I-O, C-C-A-L-I-O @us.ibm.com. If there's any further questions and or discussion, at this point in time, we can open it up to Q&A. Thank you very much.
Hi, Chuck. We've got a question for you from the audience. And the question is, what really is the key value proposition of Power AI?
The key value proposition of Power AI is really focused on increasing both the speed and accuracy of both machine learning and deep learning. And those are really two key important metrics for performance in the deep learning and machine learning space. Really, Obviously, speed, speed in terms of reducing the time to both train the model and then deploy the model, but really accuracy also is an issue. So single-digit increases in accuracy is a big deal in the AI field. It may not sound like a big deal, but it is. So really, at the end of the day, we're all about increasing the speed and accuracy of AI, especially as you head into production with that.
Okay, thanks, Chuck. And the next question that we have is, so is there a product in Power AI that accelerates machine learning?
Yes, that was a product that came from our research division in Zurich, Switzerland, and that's called SnapML. It's most of the acceleration is usually in the deep learning space, but also machine learning common algorithms are accelerated in Power AI in a product called SnapML that comes in both Power AI and Power AI Enterprise.
Okay, Chuck. And the next question is, let's say I'm not a data scientist. What's the fastest way for me to actually get started with Power AI?
I would recommend, the remote access through the cloud that we have on our Power AI website, get access to. And then in terms of tooling, the H2O AI product would probably be a good one to take a look at. And one other question did come in about how long for a proof of concept. We usually plan 2 to 4 weeks as a good time interval for a proof of concept. Really important to allow, probably on the higher end of that, 3 to 4 weeks would probably be a better answer. And to allow you to gain actual experience with your data, your algorithms in your environment. So, I think I'd encourage everybody, a good way to get started with AI is just to actually access AI through our cloud-based offerings that are documented in the presentation, and then try it and see if you like it, and then we can look at an on-premise environment.
Okay. Thanks, Chuck, for that. And another question, and this comes from the audience on the pain points, right? So what are the client pain points that are addressed by Power AI?
So client pain points are really things like accelerating the journey to realize the results for the initial use cases from both deep learning and machine learning. So a lot of people start AI projects, but they take too long to see results. So we're really about getting the results faster to you, especially with the first project, the first couple projects, because if we can get a couple successful initial high-value use cases running with success at a client, then things usually flow very nicely from there. So typical pain points in a journey to AI is really getting the first couple use cases all set up and running, and our team really specializes in helping do that. Combination of our skills, ability, experience, plus also the Power AI stack itself, the optimization of both the software and the hardware.
Okay. So there's another question which is from, I hope I'm pronouncing this name right, Verna. And it's the question is, how long would you allow for a proof of concept? You touched on this, but just for the benefit of the wider audience, if you can just answer this. So how long would the proof of concept actually take?
Typically on the low side, 2 weeks. On the higher side, 4 weeks. So I would say 3 to 4 weeks would be the most frequently occurring estimate on a proof of concept. If it takes longer than that, you're probably doing things other than proving a concept. I've heard people say a proof of concept. I worked on a proof of concept that took 6 months. That's really not a proof of concept. That you're trying to prove or continuously test something, but a proof of a concept is really verifying that something that already works with your data and your use case, or there's some specific problem, or the performance for your data and your customized, personalized use case is a question you want to answer when there's some general results you want a specific answer. So 3 to 4 weeks in summary.
Okay, Chuck, that's great. So we've actually got just 2 more minutes So we'd encourage you to actually ask your questions at the Q&A widget at the bottom of your screen. So let's just wait for a minute for the audience to have any questions they may have currently. Okay, I don't see any questions right now. So if there are questions, you can contact Chuck, and he will be happy to answer them. But at this point of time, we don't have any more questions. And thank you all for attending the webinar. We really appreciate it. Thank you.